I'm joined now by Marty Haldane. He's the founder and CEO of Anow, which was recently acquired by Voxtur Analytics, and he is now the president of the Appraisal and Valuation Division. Marty, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's nice to be here.
You bet. Marty, I have to do a little housekeeping here before we get started. I am a shareholder of Voxtur Analytics, and I stand to benefit from the share price rising, so consider me conflicted. And so with that said, Marty, I'd like to hear about what is it that Anow actually does?
Sure. No, it's a good question because there's actually a lot that we do these days. So to give you a quick background on myself and why this is important before I tell you what Anow does is I was an appraiser for 10 years. I worked for my dad, worked for his dad. So I got in at the ground level learning how an appraisal business runs, not just doing appraisals, but what does it take to do scheduling and marketing management, just running a business. So what we needed at our company was a way to manage our business better. And there just wasn't anything out there. So I created this, launched it in 2015 as a way for appraisers to better manage their business. So a purely SaaS solution, manage your orders, your pipeline, your employees, your business financials, reporting, analytics, calendars. The list is huge, literally end to end, so that an appraiser can go out in the field and just go make money. Go do your reports, do them better, faster, cheaper, and done. And then now we've evolved to work with, we work with thousands of appraisers all across the world now, mostly in Canada and the US, but now in Africa, New Zealand, in Europe, and Middle East. It's just the process is the same. Asia, I think every continent but Antarctica, actually, it is that. But we've gone from making people just run a better business to now being able to cut expenses, just be more efficient. And in the world of lending right now, the appraisal is such a pain because it's pitch it over the fence. Let's hope it gets done with a process that's been the same for many years. And so now we've evolved Anow and to have a full end-to-end report writer. So we can take an order from a lender right through an LOS integration, which is a loan origination system, to Anow, assign it out to a really efficient appraiser, manage their schedule. We can auto text and book appraisals the next day. And we're able to do appraisals like a full, in the US, a 1004 is a full appraisal. We just did one recently in Houston in under 2 hours for an appraisal. So using our technology and our process, it's not cutting corners, it's just automating things like scheduling, report writing, data integrations. And that now working directly with banks and appraisal management companies, they get the benefit of these appraisers that we started with. And it just overall improves the appraisal process for everybody, for the appraiser, for the consumer, for the borrower, for the lender, for the appraisal management company. Just finally streamlines everything rather than these segmented siloed systems that are usually off on a desktop. We put it under the cloud, connected everyone together, and it's streamlined now.
Interesting. Okay, so I'm looking at the at your website here, and it says that you guys have done $2 billion in collected fees and over 6 million valuations in it's used by appraisers in 60 countries. So that whole ecosystem is now part of the Voxtur ecosystem. Is that correct?
Yes, yep, the entire thing.
Okay, so the Voxtur ecosystem, obviously, we're looking at the sort of the ecosystem wheel here of Voxtur Analytics, and it's talking about all these things to do with loan origination and secondary market and securitization. So, how does the Anow ecosystem fit within the Voxtur ecosystem, and what is the value to the industry? Who are the users? How's this going to build up over the next 12, 24 months?
Yeah, so that's the most interesting question and why we did this acquisition. We're growing quickly, and joining and merging, being acquired by Voxtur was our way. It's a catalyst because they do so much. They have those master service agreements at lenders. They touch title, they touch tax, they have lots of data. And now with working together, we're able to bring the end-to-end borrowing experience from start. As soon as you need to get an appraisal done, you need to get title insurance. There's other tax things that are involved. We can combine all those together now. We've already integrated some of the different divisions together in a day just to get working together. And now it's the lender that becomes the ultimate beneficiary of all of this. And then the consumer, the borrower who's going out to get a loan, they shouldn't be in the dark ages anymore. When they go to their lender, we have a mobile app that the appraisers use. They can turn their beacon on, that we have a patent pending, where they literally turn their beacon on and you can source an appraiser right now, drive to that property, use our mobile inspection app, get the appraisal data collected, and then put into the report and sent off. So there's a lot of people that benefit from that in that scenario. I mean, the appraisers love it, the lender loves it, and the borrower at the end of the day now just had an appraiser come almost instantly into their house. That's done. They know their money's on their way. They're going to get their house, hopefully. And then it's just one big cycle of everyone's happy, really. And a problem that hasn't been solved. People look at automated valuations too much, and not saying they're bad, but this is just another solution to speed up a traditional appraisal process that's looked at as can't be fixed. And we thought, let's arm appraisers with great tools, and now we're fixing it.
I see. So this is slightly different than automated valuations?
Yeah. This is a full appraisal we're talking about. Is a full appraisal in Canada, a 1004, a 1073, all the different numbered forms that the Fannie and Freddie require. We have all those forms in our software, and we're facilitating those. We actually do not do any automated valuations. We have some available, but it's the Anow division. But we're doing full on appraisals at the highest level with, we're not cutting any
Fantastic.
corners.
You bet. Okay, and so is the system something that is this a growing business? Are there other companies out there doing what you do?
It is. There are not many, actually. It's quite a niche industry, if you can call it that. It's huge. There's a lot of volume that goes through here, like billions of dollars. But it's really hard, I always say, to jump into this not knowing the true process. The vast majority of people, when they buy a house, they go to the bank and they say, "Can I borrow some money?" And then the bank handles the appraisal for them, and then it just happens. But think of a purchase scenario. The purchaser has absolutely usually no contact with the appraiser whatsoever. They're off calling the current property owner or the realtor, and it just happens. Whereas behind the scenes, there's a lot of complexity around how that gets done, the compliance around that, who's able to even do that, are they licensed to do that, and what and when, and the data involved in getting that. So all of those things together, it's a lot different.
You bet. Okay, so I'm curious, $2 billion in fees connected. That's a huge business. And so what is the time frame that happened in? How many, do you have a sort of pro forma number on how much in fees you're going to collect in 2021?
Yeah, so that's actually about a year and a half old number at this point. So we've now, to put it in perspective, in October of last year was, I think, the highest month, and during the refi boom, where we did about 115,000 appraisals in a single month that we managed. So that number is going up a lot higher. I mean, we'll be over 1 million appraisals a year in 2020, 2021. And then the average appraisal fee being $400 to $700 in a lot of the American states. The math is pretty simple there. So there's a lot more volume, and we're growing quickly. I mean, our appraisal volume now is double what it was last year, and not just because of the refi boom and the increased, all the mortgage market as hot as it is, but our customer growth is almost double too from last year.
Sure. So then, as a component in the Voxtur Analytics broader ecosystem, including loan origination and securitization and all that, is that a fundamental driver of your business as well, and vice versa?
Exactly. Yeah. We're connected together. There's so many synergies on how we can do things. And think about it like this: when you get a dentist appointment, and you get a text message that you're headed to the dentist tomorrow. Great, that's awesome. I get a reminder. We're all busy. So appraisal is the same thing. Of all the things we do across the appraisal efficiency standpoint, we even text the borrower. As simple as that sounds, we're getting 2,000 views a day on our landing pages that we text. Say, "Hey, Marty, the appraiser's on the way to your house. Here's this picture of his face." Great. There's a landing page that goes with that, 2,000 views a day. Now imagine what you can do with that borrower with, "Hey, do you need title insurance? By the way, do you need movers? Do you need stuff? You're buying a house, you're refinancing a house." So that ecosystem is with Voxtur is really interesting, because they have so many tools that help the origination process that we can now bolster into Anow, and it just, again, creates a better experience. for
Sure.
people of all ages, saying having one thing under one roof is huge,
Hmm.
streamlined.
So I guess the pandemic has been a driver of consumer side adoption of this technology in that now you don't have to
Hmm.
really go face to face. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, absolutely. So an interesting thing last year with the pandemic, it really drove a lot of growth to our company. I mean, more and more companies going remote, needing a software like ours. That was huge. But in the appraisal industry, we're talking about people who cannot actually go into properties. As an aging demographic in the appraisal business, they're more at risk with the pandemic, and so they were denying inspections. But then there was also people saying, "No, I don't want anyone in my house." So we quickly developed. We were actually the first to launch, I think, out of anybody in this industry back in early April last year, what we call walkthrough, that we can send a homeowner an inspection survey, and it even asks them how they're feeling about it. It guides them through tons of geolocation and fraud things, even like an artificial intelligence that scans the photos to say, was this actually a living room? We can detect mold and holes in the walls and all that type of thing. But that really drove a lot of people to us being the first, because it just shows our type of innovation that we do. I mean, we're half of the Anow team is software developers. We build stuff, we build it quick and build it good. And they're all, well, they used to be all in house until we all moved remote. But it just that's the type of company that we are. Is when we see an opportunity and a problem to solve, we jump on it, and we do it quickly. We don't wait 6 months, 3 months. We just do it. And like I said, we were the first to launch that back in April, even out of all the big companies out there in this world, the appraisal industry.
Right. So I'm assuming that the overarching value proposition to users of the Voxtur Analytics ecosystem platform is that the entire process of real estate conveyance is going to happen almost instantly and for a largely reduced price, and all be done on one platform as opposed to having all these disparate components that take their own 10 days, 2 weeks, 3 months to happen. And that's the overarching value then, is this digital closing phenomenon is just going to reduce the cost by a significant amount and the time by a lot.
Exactly. Putting it all together, everything is so segmented and even siloed sometimes that it's to everybody's detriment. And so now having it all together with our workflows that combine with Voxtur and Anow and all the different pieces of the Voxtur business, we can streamline so many pieces. And even when you look at the appraisal industry, it's public news that Fannie and Freddie are moving away from their standardized appraisal forms that they've had for years. And now we need software to be able to adapt to that, to the new way and the new data models. And having everything together here will allow us to adopt and adapt to that very quickly,
Mm-hmm.
especially
Okay,
as a big organization.
right. So how difficult would it be for a well-funded competitor to create a competing sort of system like yours?
Um, I appreciate, I hate to say it, but in order to build a successful appraisal platform, you really have to understand this industry, the process. And I want to say you have to been able to live and breathe it. I mean, I've done over 5,000 appraisals myself, like residential, commercial, of every type. I got the benefit, and I was very lucky to work for my father, who a lot of people will say is really easy, but you actually get all the crappy stuff that you don't get paid for, and he drives you and pushes you to learn. So I learned everything, which was fantastic, and it's helped me along. So if you don't understand what happens here, not just from managing a business, but from the aspects that the critical complex pieces that go into creating an appraisal, the actual adjustments, support, and values, and what goes along with that, it is very hard to learn. I'm not saying it can't be done, but welcome the challenge, because we are far ahead because of that knowledge, and because of our good customer base too, and the type of company that we built. And the type we have request a feature, as simple as that sound is. We have thousands of appraisers sending us new things every single day saying, can you please do this? Can you please do that? But having an appraisal background, we can recognize what's important or not. Say, you know what, yeah, that will actually speed up the process, or no, you're just being a pain and you want something that only benefits you. But then that all drives the overall efficiency for everybody, because we don't release anything just for one person. We give it to everyone every time we do anything.
Right. In the entire fee structure of the appraisal process, what percentage of the fee that you receive can you attribute to gross margin?
So we do a couple of things. So in the appraisal fee, being a SaaS subscription service, we just charge per user license and company level on our actual service. So if you go to our pricing page on Anow, you'll see here's what it costs to sign up your company, completely separate of anything on the appraisal transaction amount. That being said, we do credit card processing for appraisers. So if they want to send branded automated invoices out, we handle that through our system. We collect a fee off of that. And then we also have some transactional businesses on the lender side and the appraisal management side, where we're taking a technology fee, and that's generally around $15 or more just for the transaction, just the starting point. And then we have a lot of other things that we layer on top of that, like automated reviews and data services, where that fee can change quite a bit. But that's generally how it works. But for that, the technology piece on the appraisal side, we don't even touch the appraisals. They just happen automatically behind the scenes. There's no human on the Anow side that even looks at them.
Wow. It's a fascinating business. Marty, we're going to leave it there for now. I really appreciate your time today. Thanks for joining me. We'll come back to you soon and see how you're making out.
No, thanks for having me on here. I appreciate that.
Pleasure's all mine. Bye for now.